Lesson 13-12, Circumference. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to use a formula to find the circumference of a circle. Make sure you have a pencil and paper ready so you can work right along with me. Here are a couple definitions for today's lesson. The first one is circumference. That is the distance around a circle. And the second one is diameter. That's the distance across the midpoint of a circle. Now you can take the circumference and put that over the diameter of any circle, and you end up with pi, what we call pi, 3.14. Now that number actually keeps going on and on indefinitely. It's a non-repeating decimal, and it's also an irrational number. The symbol we use for pi looks like this. So if you take any circumference of a circle and divide it by the diameter of that circle, you always get 3.14. Here are the two different formulas that you'll use for finding the circumference of a circle. This first one is when you're given the diameter of a circle. You'll use this formula. C equals pi times d. Now for pi, we always use 3.14. So whenever you're given the diameter, you use this formula. Now, if you're given the radius of a circle, you'll use this formula. C equals 2 times pi times r. So remember, depending on if you're given the diameter or the radius, that will decide which of these two formulas that you'll use. So for our first example, we are given the diameter of a circle being 5.5 meters. So we'll just plug that into this formula. So we have C equals pi, which is 3.14, times the diameter, which is 5.5. So C will equal, when we multiply 3.14 times 5.5, we get 17.27 meters. So that would be the circumference of this given circle. So if we're given, in another example, they give us the radius. And the radius equals 3 yards. Then we would just plug that in. The circumference equals 2 times 3.14 times 3 yards. Now I can take these and move them around, remember, because of our different multiplication properties. So I'm going to multiply the 2 times 3 together first, because it doesn't matter which 2 we multiply together first. So I have C equals 2 times 3 is 6 times 3.14. And now I multiply 6 times 3.14, and I get 18.84 yards. So the circumference of this circle would be 18.84 yards. Alright, I want you to try this one on your own. If you're given a circle where the diameter is 2 meters, I want you to figure out what the circumference is and then come back and check your work against mine. Alright, so I would plug that into my formula. So the circumference would equal pi 3.14 times the diameter, which is 2. So when I multiply 3.14 times 2, I get the circumference equals 6.28 meters. And I hope that's what you were able to get also. Alright, so this one I want you to find the circumference of the circle if you're given the radius. And remember, the radius is halfway across the circle. The diameter is all the way across and the radius is halfway. So if the radius is 4 feet, what would the circumference be? So pause the video and work that out and come back and check against mine. Okay, so for this one, the circumference would equal 2 times pi 3.14 times 4. Now, today I'm going to be doing a lot of multiplying for the radius, so you could just do that over here, 3.14 times 2 So that would be 8, 2, 6. 6.28. So you could just keep this math right here and always plug that in for the radius. So you could say the circumference equals 6.28 times whatever the radius would be. This one it's 4. So when I multiply that out, I get 25.12 feet. All right, go ahead and rewatch any part of today's lesson before heading off to do today's math assignment.